from Lamu in Kenya, where we are building a 24-meter recycled plastic sailing boat. And right now I'm sitting on our 9-meter prototype. Actually today is a very special day because we are launching our Flipflopi boat build toolkit, where we documented everything around the processes we used to make this boat, so the first prototype. Looking into this process, how we built this plastic dhow, is very important to now learn from to make this bigger one. So in this video we will talk you through all the processes from plastic to a sailing plastic recycled vessel. Starting with the plastic, so we did a lot of beach cleanups here in Lamu and along the coast. Then it was about sorting the type of plastic we needed, and we collaborated with those different recycling manufacturers, which the process looks like this.
When the plastic comes to us, we put in our big crushing machines. We crush about 2-3 tons a day, and we wash them, and then we dry them. And then we put it in a big melting machine.
To then melt and make the products they are doing, which mostly is fencing poles and tiles and kind of like outdoor construction material. This whole topic about plastic and what different types there are and how you even prepare it for melting and how you melt it is a big topic itself. As a good start for learning all about that is Precious Plastic, which is a project and community which makes plastic recycling and all the knowledge behind the material and the process more accessible, so you can learn about it and how to recycle plastic yourself. So check it out, it's a good way to start diving into that topic. So now back to building this boat. There's basically 3 components of this boat, which is the big parts, the structure, and then the planks, which make the hull and the decking, and then the flip-flop sheets. So let's start with the big ones. This was, I guess, the most challenging part because they all have a different shape, very customized shape. So what we did is, for a lot of those molds, we did templates first from wood, and then for most of the parts, because they are all very different, we made about 25 different molds for different angles of the ribs and of the sayali, so the part where it meets the keel of the boat. And they've all been done with pretty simple metal work, so just sheet metal and beams to reinforce and then weld it, so that then the plastic could be poured into the mold and then compressed and cooled down to harden again. Which was a lot of research and testing because the materials and that process was quite rough and made a lot of air bubbles.
This is the hole, almost 8 centimeter.
Yeah, but that's how those parts were made. And then in the process of shaping them for the boat, they had chisels and some sort of hand tools where they then modified them so that they fit really into the boat how they needed it. One thing to mention for those material mixes is we did a lot of tests with those parts. We also tried something with fibers and using coconut fibers and glass fibers. So there's still a lot to explore, and we also made analysis of that material, which you can also find in the boat build toolkit. Then we have the planks. So all of these brown parts, which look like wood, but they are also plastic. And this is basically a quite standard process, which is used quite a lot here. So there's a lot of manufacturers in Nairobi. They just make planks, also with the extruder, and that's also the process we used here. So that is something, once you figure that process out, you can just use that as your material. Then we have the flip-flop sheets. So these ones were made from flip-flop artists in the south coast of Kenya.
All these flip-flops, I have collected them from the beach. After I have gotten this pattern, then I'll get to glue them together.
And that has been applied to the outside of the boat. Now the question is, how was it all assembled?
So in our area, the way traditional how we are used to start construction, we usually have like the standing, which is like the poles, which stays on the ground, and then we used to cut these poles into half. We make like a straight line where it goes all the way, okay, and then we cut these things halfway, so it has a gap, and our keel come now to stand in here. And on this then is when now the muli comes, and then you can have the back muli. Usually we make like L muli, and then you have a rivet both sides where the planks come, and then on this rivet you have a plank comes out, which is coming here and here. Then you hold with a stick here. This a piece of wood go to the ground, and the side the same.
So these are now just temporary?
Just temporary structure. And then now you start putting your planks down. You also put another bitana, which supports the muli. You bolt it all the way, and also down here you bolt it to the keel. On the muli also you have a bolt. Between the keel and the keel you have bolts. And then you start planking now, following this. Okay, so now we call this kitanda, which is like the bed style. And then you start now sticking poles to give you this shape on both sides. So you put planks here, so it gives you the size. You measure here, I want this mark, this size in every part. Yeah.
And then you put first just wooden ribs
wooden ribs as a template, yeah, to get your shape. Because sometimes like here you have like something like it goes something like this. You see, it goes something like that in the front, yeah. So you have to get all this type of ribs, which gives you the shape of the mashavu, the way you want to cut the water. So you have all to calculate here and see the shapes, yeah. After making this, now you start putting all the temporary ribs, and then after temporary ribs, now you start completing the planks coming out. So the planks come all the way from down, and others maybe they can start on top. And then now you, after all planks is made, so the hull is ready. So now you'll be fixing exactly rib on every place. And then we are taking mold to the industry of the shape exactly what we need. They give us some ribs, we put it there, and then we remove this one. So after that, you finish all your planks, all sealed up to the top, and then now you have the locking inside. You have this tampisi. This is the main like locking of the dhow now inside.
Tampisi is a black one inside here, very strong.
This goes together with the outside hindirani. And then after that, now you have the crossing beams now, which comes along. Mafundo. Yeah. And then after mafundo, now you have the karua, which comes on both sides, and then you bolt between here to here, and then here you bolt it also, and there you bolt it also to the rib. So you can see your fundo or your beam is so thick because you have both side karua, and then you have the joints going the other side. So you all bolt together to the fundo. You have a bolt, 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 and then bolt to the wall. So this is like a bracket now. You lock all your bolts, and then you can do some sections like this, small parts on every fundo, and then now you make your deck. And then you have a gap for the mast. So your mast comes there. Been looking for the way of how we can seal this plastic well, and we try different type of glue for the plumbing pieces of PVC and PPR glue, but they were not working. And then it also tried to burn some other plastic, which was not binding so well. So we had to go with our local traditional style of caulking using cotton and oil.
Yeah.
So we just caulk it as normal.
What did you do to reinforce like the?
As I knew the plastic was not so strong, so I had to add a U-tube metal in the keel for my protection, because sometimes you have to drag it down on the logs and all this. So I had to add a plate U-tube down, so it was like more reinforcement. So it was like a big protection down. Yeah. This piece, it helps when you have your propeller.
We're talking about Ndogo here, yeah, Ali?
Yeah, about the small one, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here we had our rudder, sindio? Yeah.
Now, what do you feel about the strength and how to build a boat with plastic compared to wood?
With the plastic, if you get good machines which can produce parts without bubble, I think plastic they are good because they are adjustable, and it's somehow soft if you don't mix with sand or any other particles. You can use it our normal tools of carpentry. They can you can rip it, you can plane it, and you can drill it very well. Yeah, I can say it's nearly like some other type of wood, like cedar, or we have another wood, we call it mohero in our area. They look like plastic wood. They are very similar because the grains are so much soft in any direction you go, compared to other wood like teak or mahogany or ironwood. They have their grains, but plastic is without any grains. In fact, yeah, you can rip any side, you can follow planing any side. It's no, you don't have a direction of following the grains. That's the goodness of plastic. Yeah. Yeah.
Tawa, any more questions? Yeah, so now we had the boat constructed, and that was now the plastic part, recycled plastic part of it, but then we added mast and boom and those kind of sailing accessories. The rollers to roll the ropes, they were also made from recycled plastic. All the top sailing accessories were just using normal sailing materials. Yeah, so this was the process basically. There is much more information in the Boat Build Toolkit if you want to look it up and read into it. And it was quite a rough process, and there's definitely a lot to improve. So in the next video, we will go through all the challenges, the main things we have to tackle. We have a lot of ideas, so we will also talk you through the concepts we have and what kind of innovation we want to make to build the big dhow. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And yeah, if you want to support all the work we are doing, feel free to leave a donation or support on Patreon. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.